Iran has warned it will strike electrical plants across the Middle East if U.S. President Donald Trump follows through on his threat to bomb power stations. U.S. President Donald Trump has pushed back his deadline for Iran to allow the Strait of Hormuz to reopen by 5 days, citing progress in bilateral talks. As countdown towards his original 48-hour deadline ticked closer to its final 12 hours on Monday night, AEDT, Trump said the countries had very good and productive conversations regarding a complete and total resolution of our hostilities in the Middle East over the past 2 days. Based on the tenor and tone of these in-depth, detailed, and constructive conversations, which will continue throughout the week, I have instructed the Department of War to postpone any and all military strikes against
Iranian power plants and energy infrastructure for a 5-day period, subject to the success of the ongoing meetings and discussions, he said in an all-caps Truth Social post. However, Iran's Fars news agency said after Trump's post that there was no direct communication with the U.S. or through intermediaries. Citing an unnamed source, Fars said Trump had retreated after hearing that Iran would respond by attacking all power plants in the region. Trump's post immediately sent oil prices tumbling and spiked markets that were trading at the time. The benchmark Brent crude oil index fell back towards $100 or $1,420 for the first time in almost a week after peaking earlier in the day above $113. Wall Street futures jumped more than 2% before the market opened, while London's FTSE and Europe's Stoxx 600 and precious metals also climbed. Iran had warned it would strike electrical plants across the Middle East if Trump followed through with his threat to bomb power stations, threatened to mine the whole Persian Gulf if it was invaded. The Monday warning by Tehran put at risk both electrical supplies and water in the Gulf Arab states, particularly as the desert nations commingle their power stations with desalination plants, crucial for supplying drinking water. Over the weekend, Iran launched missiles targeting Dimona in Israel, near a facility key to its long-suspected atomic weapons program. The Israeli facility was not damaged in the barrage. Tehran says it will mine Persian Gulf if invaded. As concerns grow in Tehran about the potential arrival of U.S. Marines in the region, Iran's Defense Council warned against the idea of an invasion. Any attempt by the enemy to target Iran's coasts or islands will naturally, and in accordance with established military practice, lead to the mining of all access routes in the Persian Gulf and along the coasts, it said in a statement. The U.S. has been trying to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, the narrow mouth of the Persian Gulf, to energy shipments. The Marines could come ashore to seize either islands or territory in Iran to support that mission. Israel also has suggested a ground operation could take part in the war. Trump had said the U.S. would attack Iran's power stations unless the country releases its stranglehold on the Strait of Hormuz. His self-declared 48-hour deadline was set to expire on Tuesday morning, AEDT, before he extended it late on Monday. Trump said in a social media post at the weekend that if Tehran did not open the strategic waterway to all ships, the United States would obliterate Iran's power plants. Iran's paramilitary Revolutionary Guard said on Monday that if the U.S. did that, Iran would respond by hitting power plants in all areas that supply electricity to American bases, as well as the economic, industrial, and energy infrastructures in which Americans have shares. Do not doubt that we will do this, the Guard said in a statement read on Iranian state television. The Fars news agency, which is close to the Revolutionary Guard, published a list of such sites in what appeared to be a veiled threat, including desalination plants, as well as the UAE's Barakah nuclear power plant, which has 4 reactors out in the western deserts of the country, near its border with Saudi Arabia. The judiciary's Mizan news agency also published the list. Iran has also said it will completely close the strait if Trump follows through with the threat to attack Iranian power plants. Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Khalibaf also said Iran would then consider vital infrastructure across the region, including energy and desalination facilities critical for drinking water in Gulf nations, legitimate targets. No country will be immune. IEA boss speaks in Australia. The threats further raise the stakes of the ongoing war with Iran that has disrupted global energy supplies, sending natural gas and petrol prices soaring. No country will be immune to the effects of this crisis if it continues to go in this direction, said Fatih Birol, the head of the Paris-based International Energy Agency.
He told Australia's National Press Club in Canberra on Monday that the crisis in the Middle East has had a worse impact on energy markets than the two oil shocks of the 1970s and the Russia-Ukraine war combined.
Jorge Moreira da Silva, a senior United Nations official, said the world has already seen a ripple effect, including exponential price hikes in oil, fuel, and gas, having a far-reaching impact on millions, primarily in Asian and African developing countries. There is no military solution, he said. Israel launched new attacks on Monday on the Iranian capital, saying it had begun a wide-scale wave of strikes on infrastructure targets in Tehran without immediately elaborating. United States Central Command Chief Admiral Brad Cooper claimed Iran was launching missiles and drones from populated areas and suggested those areas would be targeted. "You need to stay inside for right now," Cooper told Iranian civilians in the interview with the Farsi-language satellite network Iran International aired early on Monday. "There will be a clear signal at some point, as the president has indicated, for you to be able to come out."
Air defenses in the United Arab Emirates intercepted a ballistic missile near the Al Dhafra air base in Abu Dhabi, and one person on the ground was injured when hit with shrapnel. Warning sirens sounded in Bahrain and Kuwait, while Saudi Arabia's defense ministry said it had intercepted a missile targeting Riyadh and had destroyed drones over the kingdom's oil-rich eastern province. Oil prices up more than 50% since start of the war. Before Trump's extension, oil prices had remained stubbornly high in early trading, with the price in Brent crude, the international standard, at around $112, $161 a barrel, up nearly 55% since Israel and the U.S. started the war on February 28 by attacking Iran. The war has also caused wild fluctuations in global stock markets, as traders grow increasingly concerned about a world energy crisis and other issues. In addition to targeting Israel and American bases, Iran has been hitting the energy infrastructure of its Gulf Arab neighbors. It also has a tight grip on shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, which leads from the Persian Gulf toward the open ocean, and through which a fifth of the world's oil is shipped, along with other important commodities. A trickle of ships has been getting through the strait, and Iran insists it remains open, just not to the U.S., Israel, or their allies such as Australia. U.S. commander says campaign against Iran is ahead or on plan. In his first one-on-one interview since the war started, Admiral Cooper said the campaign against Iran is ahead or on plan, and that the U.S. and Israel were targeting infrastructure and manufacturing facilities to destroy Iran's capabilities to rebuild its military. "It's not just about the threat today," he said. "We're eliminating the threat of the future, both in terms of the drones, the missiles, as well as the Navy." He suggested Iran could bring a quick end to the war if it stopped firing back, though did not say whether that would prompt Israel and the U.S. to relent before all infrastructure targets have been destroyed. "They could stop this war right now, absolutely, if they chose to do so," he said of Iran. "They need to stop putting the wonderful Iranian people at risk by firing missiles and drones from inside populated areas. They need to stop immediately attacking civilians throughout the Middle East region." Iran's death toll in the war has surpassed 1,500, its health ministry has said. In Israel, 15 people have been killed by Iranian strikes. More than a dozen civilians in the occupied West Bank and Gulf Arab states have been killed in strikes. In Lebanon, authorities say Israeli strikes targeting Iran-linked militia Hezbollah have killed more than 1,000 people and displaced more than 1 million. Meanwhile, Hezbollah has fired hundreds of rockets into Israel.